So our first mid-season transfer window, and I tell you what, I am not treating this like a loan window. I'm treating like this needs to be when we do our business. 10 points now behind Manchester City. Terrible from us. I think we're just aiming for Champions League football. That defeat was a hammer blow. However, we're still going to go on to Tottenham. That's another hard game, but we've got to prioritise the cups. We have Fleetwood, we have Celtic, and we have PSG. With 142 in the bank, we can definitely get reinforcements for this Manchester United team, as we do have a player wanting out, and that is Matthijs de Ligt. He's gone down in overall. He does get injured. I wasn't sure on him anyway, so maybe a player we sell today. As with the cups we are left in, the FA Cup, I think I can maybe get a younger defender to play in that. And then the Champions League, we'll probably play Maguire or Lenny Yoro, which you guys are telling me to do so I think I am going to do that. And you guys are also telling me one player that I'm keeping here, Rasmus Højlund, is a player that Napoli have an obligation to buy on, so I'm actually going to transfer list him. Go into this window today looking for a backup striker and a backup centre-back. We also lack a backup goalkeeper while Sané Lamens recovers, as this is how our scouting has gone. Our best player in this academy still is Alan Maciel, one I didn't promote. We've also got Marcos Alcantara. Our Brazilian scout went out, so going to promote him, probably get him out on loan. Could promote a few more, but I need this goalkeeper. Kader Bahari, he's going to be the third choice here at Manchester United. If we get a good loan deal in, though, in the window and Lemons recovers, obviously I'll send him back, as I'm going to take de Ligt out for this game against Spurs. Can't really afford to play it. We've got to play some of these cup games to actually win a competition. And it's a defeat to City and then Tottenham. Terrible circumstances as we also lose to Southampton at Old Trafford, making the need for a signing crucial, as I've sold Rasmus Højlund outside the window, which to be fair was just a day away because I need to get moving on a striker. We have Liverpool next. And I think with the league form, I can't afford to sim it this time. With a tactical breach, maybe we do change something tactical here. Losing all these games as Luke Shaw's being approached. I'm going to sign him up for my experienced player. Definitely don't want him walking out. And same with Leacher, because we're in a lot of centre-back struggles as is. He's been the one that stayed here. Regate up to an 80 rating. Very realistic game. de Ligt, he has an offer waiting for him, but Sané Lemens is back. Can this be the spark of some good form? I am hoping so, as I'm going much higher with my defensive line, and I'm going to play a different style of football. Kobbie Mainoo filling in as a centre-half so he can play the ball up to Guimaraes or out wide, as we're doubling up on the wings, trying to get the balls in towards Šeško. As we are really struggling to get Kobbie Mainoo on big form here. Bruno Guimaraes, the captain as well. I think he's going to have to give that back to Bruno Fernandes. Let's imagine Bruno actually had it rescinded, because ultimately he did want to leave the club at the start of this season, but now he is definitely not. Patrick Dorgu needs to get back inside, a player I've got big ambitions for. There's Fernandes trying to liven up this contest early on, but ultimately was a bit of a tame shot. Ekatike trying to make a move. Cody Gakpo. He is tackled by Livramento. Livramento, that's a risky pass. Still, we've kind of got away with it. There's Kobbie Mainoo sitting a bit deeper back. You can see he's in the back three, leaving Guimaraes more freedom to operate on the left and on the right. As Mbermo into Bruno. Bruno with a pocket of space. He's going to look to go in behind here towards Matheus Cunha, fighting for that ball. With Ekatike finding Gravenberg. Out wide onto Milos Kerkez. Kerkez stepped inside us. Florian Wirtz doesn't, but he's still managed to keep the ball here. Cody Gakpo. We're rushing around like a bit of a headless chicken with Ekatike getting his shot off. First test for Lamens since he's back. Performance kind of telling me we did rely and do rely on Sané Lemens. Maybe he was the man keeping us in games pre the injury, and Bayindir, who is also out of contract, not doing himself justice, losing all them games when he was in goal. It's Patrick Dorgu keep on running. You are a wing back, not an inverted fullback. He doesn't invert. He stays out wide. Brilliant cross into the space. Still trying to prove himself. Bruno tries to go early towards Benjamin Šeško. That is a brilliant header. Bruno, he waits for the run of Matheus Cunha. That should have gone towards Šeško. Dorgu picking up on the ball. We can beat Liverpool here. Come on. Bruno Guimaraes around the corner to Mbermo. He's going to try and shoot. We just can't get past their defence. And this is the move. This is the one. Šeško, Bruno, and Burmo getting the running behind of Kirkes. We are realistically never running that foot race. Annoying. And the centre-backs are quite tired. So do we actually buy a centre-back first? Well, actually, no. Looking on the bench, Wheatley, 68. Not only do I think he has to go, but I don't think we've got anybody ready. Xerxes out on a 2-year loan. Might recall him before that. With Chido Obi, 19, 68 rated. He's trying to climb up that overall, but we need someone to support Benjamin Šeško. Without actually having a number 9 at the club, I'm going to blur all these players out. As my first choice for a backup was Goncalo Ramos, the next Portugal striker, who could link up with Bruno. Then we've got Alfonso Patricao, Pablo Felipe, also Fabio Silva, Varela, and they're my 5 options. Varela and Paxiao, I think, are just too similar to Chido Obi, and I think Goncalo Ramos in stature is similar to Šeško, leaving me with Pablo Felipe, who has been relegated, so could be potentially cheap. Then there's Fabio Silva, already fresh from beating us in the Champions League phase with Borussia Dortmund, and I do like a comeback story for players. Like Matthijs de Ligt was a bit out of form. He came back to United, has built himself up a little, and last time this man was in the Premier League, he absolutely flopped. I believe it was with Wolves, so our second choice, Fabio Silva. I'll probably throw him in against Fleetwood, not straight away in the Premiership. And before we do sign a centre-back, I do want Matthijs de Ligt leaving us, which doesn't take long. Pre the game against Fulham, that was rapid. Accepted an offer from Real Madrid. He's going to play for Los Blancos alongside Huijsen or Hausen, replacing Tony Rudiger. Big shoes to fill as we finally get a win, and Harry Maguire delivers that win. Good stuff as he captains the reserves for this next game, playing for his contract. And a 6-0 win. Fabio Silva with a debut goal. Pretty sure stat padding going on there, as Mbermo is stat padding. If he can just go and do it in this game against Celtic, which is crucial to our season, that'd be perfect. Then we'll sign a defender. I can see our defenders are fatigued. One has got injured. Kenny scores the goal for Celtic. And up in Scotland, Manchester United are beaten. This leaves us 6th in the Premier League, 29th in the Champions League phase, and with Paris away at the Parc des Princes next, we need to get a victory, or else we are donezo, and I don't think a new centre-back's going to extremely help us at this moment in time. Harry Maguire must have got a long-term injury. Zolis, he's been signed by Chelsea. Right, I was thinking a young centre-back. Now I think we need a crucial. I'll show you my shortlist. This was it. Only a few 80 rated. Actually had a centre mid on there and a left back from West Ham who were relegated. But this is it in mainstream. Or in the mainstream, sorry. I was planning on John Martin to swoop in there. Or Noble Mende, a new potential wonder kid. But I'm taking every single player off. We cannot gamble on 70 rated. And we cannot gamble on a simulation against Paris Saint-Germain. What a huge risk. We've got to go to Paris and actually win the game to go through in the Champions League. Vitinha, this is sidestep straight into us. This is going to be difficult. I've got Luke Shaw filling in at centre-back. Should have signed the centre-back earlier, but I did want to sign a potential player. Now I know we don't go for potential. My job should be made a lot easier, but still, the job is far from done. I haven't scouted yet. Desiree Doué running straight into João Neves. There's Shaw trying to battle for the ball. Was he part of the win here? When Rashford scored that penalty as Vardiol goes wide. That's one shot by them. We've still got quality players to cause an upset, as I do think it definitely is an upset. Lost a lot of games. The Carrick element wearing thin, as I just honestly don't want a 0-0. I don't want to be beaten, don't get me wrong. A 0-0 again will be a boring game for us as Mbermo is in behind. He has to hit that far post. Chevalier, the disappointing player, with a save as Lenny Yoro gets his head on it. Despite contract negotiations going wrong, I'm relying on him. Little Lenny at the back as Bruno Guimaraes straight into Brian Mbermo. He turns out, he tries to play out. Doesn't really work on that occasion for him, but Mbermo tries to put the tackle in. Fails again. Come on, lads. We've got to get better. Ousmane Dembele He drives into João Neves. That's a good tackle, Agate, against his former club. 45 minutes to save the season, and you're playing passes like that? The tea ladies will get sacked if you don't perform here, as that's a brilliant ball in behind, and Cunha, how has he missed that chance? We need to be away. Fabio Silva's also on, and that is a ball towards Mbermo. He's escaped Matheus Nunes too far out wide. They haven't cleared it. Fabio Silva, what have we bought you for? Went really Yorkshire there, but we have been pushing on their door and we haven't got past PSG. There's anger coming out there. As speaking of coming out, 1 win, 4 draws. More draws than defeats did the damage. I think that was a decent performance all round against Paris. But it means a failure for Man United in Season 1 in the Champions League, and we're not even in the positions by 4 points out of it to Liverpool, and still in the FA Cup, which I want to get onto today, and that does mean actually simming Spurs and Arsenal. But next episode, we have the entirety of the reverse fixtures to really claw back them points, and that is exactly what we're going to try and do. So I'm going to put a list of centre-backs together that could really help us pop, and you might see something when I reveal this list. I am going down the Ruben Amorim links, but I think this is the best for United. Portuguese centre-halves, because they have pace. We've got Ousmane Diomande, all them play styles. Defending as well. As Zeno Di Bast, I thought with Senny Lemons being Belgian, I would go for him, but I'm going to take him off the list. Quaresma, not physical enough. Leaving these two of Araujo, coached by Mourinho, and Diomande. I think the Portuguese league is realistic because they might go through in the Champions League, but still you want to move from the Liga NOS to the Premier League. I'm going to go Ousmane Diomande. Hopefully he gets us back in Champions League contention, on level with De Ligt, I'd say. And once we're rested, that looks like a team that should be beating Everton. Yes, I'm already thinking of the FA Cup because we draw to 20th place Birmingham for the 2nd time. Oh, but then we actually beat Arsenal at the Emirates. Wow. Then Tottenham 3-0. Have we randomly just hit a turning point for Man United? Well, we'll find out in just a second because this is my favourite cup in the world, the Emirates FA Cup. No, I'm not just saying that because I'm a lower league fan and I get to see my team actually play Premier League clubs through this, but I'm saying it because I want to. And I believe in it with Hogan linking up on this wing with, I think it was Bruno Guimaraes. I do want to trust in the youth still. Despite a bad season, we've got to do it. We've got to make sure they're given a chance and an opportunity fairly with Bruno. Everton, of course, the last team we rebuilt. Fond memories. Mazraoui, that's a brilliant ball in. Still, we need to prove to ourselves we are good enough here. Šeško with a brilliant turn and a brilliant pace. If there's someone finally to score the first in-game goal. Unlucky with Bruno Guimaraes into Ahmad. Bruno Fernandes. That's a foul. Okay, referee's not giving us anything this season. They were terrible against Slavia Praha in the last episode as Guimaraes. He's got the captaincy back again, maybe because he's a leader. On to Hogan, and Hogan is the man to finally score a goal for us, our youth player. I am still believing in you, my man, Hogan. He'll take us to the FA Cup, as we've still got time in this first half to try and put doom onto Everton. That's a brilliant ball. Completely forgot the team we're against, because Hogan is balling out. The referee does very well to get out of the way here, and Hogan's having Jim O'Brien on toast. That should be the first half over. With the second up and coming, we need some goals. We need to excite the United fans. Can't forget the club we are. Hogan gets a brilliant ball from kickoff in the second half. He's got two. Two for our youngster. Matheus Cunha. It was brilliant at the end of last season, granted, but this man is running riot. Fair play, though. He's got a lot to thank Ahmad for. This is going wonderful. We need to actually put a foot fully in for a tackle. There we go. Bruno Guimaraes gets it off. Mount, I've just put on for Bruno. I do feel safe in this result. Maybe Fabio Silva comes on himself. That's just charging through. That's bullying of Pickford. Šeško I'll also bring off. It's his first goal in the FA Cup. We beat Fleetwood 6-0. This could be even more if we get a hurry on at the end of this game. Do want to keep clean sheets going. Tyler Diblin. The betrayal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you do check the last series we did. But we can actually get a hat-trick for Hogan. He's the new Ronaldo. We don't even need a Portugueser. Oh my days. Hogan, you're the best player ever. It is 4 at the Hill Dickey and a hero definitely born at United. Hogan Look at this turn on Jared Branthwaite, an experienced Premier League defender, getting done by that little man.